Welcome to Building Your 3D Printed Stethoscope with Mosaic Medical. My name is Emerson and I'm going to be guiding you through the process. Quick look at the packaging, pretty straightforward. Among all these parts, there is an ID card which has serial numbers that are in relation to your pieces, so be sure to hold on to that. This model in particular is from Mosaic's Heroes of Healthcare series. It is the physician colorway, so these components either come in a pearl blue, cherry red, or gold bronze. What I like to do upon receiving my stethoscope is to clean and disinfect the tubing, just by spraying some sort of alcohol, preferably IPA, on a paper towel and giving the tubes a quick wipe, leaving them to dry a few moments after wipe down. So let's get into this build. Grab the 2 ear tubes and the 1 spring. These ear tubes are long, slightly curved prints, and each should have a toggle or knob at the end. Be sure to check each print to make sure that the toggle is in place. Looking at the spring, this is a symmetrically curved piece with 2 insertion points for the ear tubes. Insert the toggle end of the ear tube into the ends of the spring. The ear tubes are non-specific in relation to the sides of the spring, so with some light pressure, they will slip right in. The toggle should be right up to the spring to stop further advancement. Once the tubes are in, give it a quick flex test to make sure it's in working order. Next, the small tubing. So with the small tubes, this will be the trickiest part of the build, so make sure to have some patience for this part of the process. We're going to be inserting the small tubing onto the ear tubes and hopefully up to the spring. Now with this, slow and steady wins the race. The initial push on shouldn't be too bad. I like to cross the ear tubes because it creates more space between the tubing and the spring, possibly reducing some friction. If you're having some real trouble, grab a pair of needle nose pliers, insert the closed end into the small tubing, and give it a slight stretch and hold. This should make insertion of the pieces a little easier. Using that crossing technique, traditionally some smaller circular rotations or back and forth zigzag motions will move the tubing up to the spring, like this. As you can see, the tubing isn't completely flush with the spring, but that's okay, as long as it's on there and it's not going to slip off. Also making sure that the tubes have no major twists and turns. Next, the Y piece. The Y piece is also known as the bifurcation piece. Place the small tubing ends onto the prongs of the Y piece. This should be a little bit easier than the ear tubes. With a couple wiggles, they should slide on. As you can see, we're able to get the tubing pretty much up to the bifurcation point, only leaving the tail exposed. With the large tubing, we're simply going to push it onto the end of the tail. There's a little bit of friction to overcome, but again with some force, the tubing will slide into place. Now as you can see, a small portion of the Y piece is exposed. If you're able to push it up and past this part to completely cover the Y piece, that's awesome. If not, that's okay too. For the end of the stethoscope, the bell is made up of 3 pieces: a diaphragm, a ring, and a bell itself. Start by taking the diaphragm and putting it into the inside of the ring. Orient the ring so that it's able to sit on top of the bell. If you push down, it should snap in place. Just be aware that if there are any gaps between the ring and the bell itself, it will result in some sound lost. So make sure to eliminate that. Quick 360-degree view, looks good. If you're getting any kind of shifting with your diaphragm, double check to make sure there is no gap. To finish off the bell, insert the tail into the other end of the large tubing. Push it in as far as it'll go. I noticed some minor turning in the tubing, so with a quick correction, twisting in the opposite direction, we can straighten the stethoscope so it'll sit a little nicer. Now time for the earbuds. With this stethoscope, we get these nice clean white earbuds. I initially like to flip them inside out, just so I can see what I'm working with a little better. By grabbing the base of the earpiece and pulling the rest over with tweezers, we get simple application. Then flip it right side out. For those of you in the field or who like to wear their stethoscopes in their pockets, I like to add some super glue or crazy glue to help secure them in place. Just be sure not to block any holes or not to put them in your ears before they have dried. The final result will look like this. So here's our stethoscope. These are super fun to build and even more fun to customize on our website. These 3D printed stethoscopes have been research validated to perform at the same level as the Littmann cardiologies, so very effective. To test your stethoscope, throw it in your ears and grab the bell. Give the diaphragm a couple taps. You should hear some loud knocks. If not, recheck the tubing and the diaphragm are properly placed. Now I've already demonstrated how to correct twists and turns in the tubing. I highly recommend doing so. This increases the product in the build and will be a lot easier for you to store/pocket the device before and after using. Thanks for watching, and don't forget to like and subscribe and find us on our website, www.mosaicmedical.ca.